In this video, I'm going to show you what's going on in the stock market on the higher time frames like a monthly, and today we're going to be looking at it a little different with the stochastic indicator as well as the Bollinger Bands, the 21 EMA, and the 200 EMA. And so if that interests you, you found the right video. And so looking at the S&P 500, the monthly time frame has got it pretty good over the years, and as you can see, we crossed down right here, and so we did have a pullback of around 26%. And so if we're looking at it right here, it has not crossed to the downside. And so I know I've been looking at it as it could break down right here, but, even if you were like, okay, it crossed down right here, it just kept going up. So definitely something to keep in mind that, trading is very risky, and a long-term mindset over the course of many years is probably going to work out better for you. Whereas if you're trying to sell here and buy here, probably not going to work out over the long term. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment purposes. And so with that being said, we'll take a look at the weekly time frame, and we do have a fresh weekly stochastic cross. And so with that, I would be looking for SPY to continue to the upside. And when we jump down to the 3-day, it's looking more the same, going up. And then we also got a fresh daily cross. So, off the daily cross, we would probably end up seeing price going to the upside. And so, now that we've looked at that, we can also check out what it looks like on the MACD, and not a whole lot to get off of the MACD right here. And checking out the monthly time frame, again, we have lost momentum here, and so that would be bearish on the stock. But after what we already seen on the MACD, that's going to tell us, or not the MACD, the stochastic's going to tell a little bit of a different story. And so not much to gain off of this one. So, and it looks like I'm stuck on this indicator now. There we go. All right. Okay, so now looking at it with our other indicators, and these are the main indicators that I use, and to me, they make everything easier to understand on what's happening. And as you can see, we also got the daily RSI cross, which is going to be bullish. So, and then when you just look at price action, we are in a pattern right here, and so we can put the magnet tool on, and that'll help us get the wick high. And then we can do something like this. Okay. And then also we can come back from here and grab this one. And so it is looking like we're in a rising wedge, which can break to the upside. So yeah, with all that being said, after everything we've looked at, it does look like we could see a little upwards price action in the S&P. Alright, so with that being said, on the S&P, we're now going to take a look at the biggest gainer today, and that's going to be Robinhood. And we had been looking at Robinhood to do pretty good over the next month or so, but it did beat earnings by a lot, so that's pretty good for Robinhood stock. And so based off earnings, it probably did go up 15%, but I don't think it's going to go up much more, but just my opinion. But also when earnings come out, it does kind of mess up the TA, which, a lot of people say technical analysis is kind of, fake or fugazi or whatever, and I would agree with that, but, over the long term, it's better than nothing, so that's kind of why I've stuck with it over the years. Which, I'm sure people do have success not using technical analysis, but to me, it helps, and it's a pretty good hobby for me to have something to do. So, anyway, back to the charts. Looking at the RSI right here, we are at over 92. So when you do get over 92, that is when you could see it go the opposite way. And same thing to the downside. If you ever see it way low, like right here, it was 20. Good time for it to go back the opposite of that. So if we jump down to the daily, it is looking like a breakout, but like I said, with it being earnings, there's not much to go off of. And if you look at my indicator, it's pushing up to resistance, and this is kind of like support resistance. If you know what that is, it's kind of similar with my stocks. And then the next best one today is Coinbase, and Coinbase has been a good stock basically since January. It's went to the upside, and that probably lines up with all the trading going on with cryptocurrency. And so looking at the daily, it does look like we could push it to the upside, and then we're also in a pretty good pattern right here, so could be seeing it break to the upside soon. And we catch the bottom side right here, so yeah, definitely could be seeing this breakout soon. Maybe tomorrow could have another big day. And so yeah, not much to go off of. Again, this one's kind of with the earnings, and it says it's the 13th of February, which is today, so could be front running the earnings. And then we'll take a look at the next best one, which is Tesla. And if you've been sticking with us for the past few days, we were calling this as a potential bottom right in here, and we are getting some follow through to the upside off of it. And if we jump out to the daily, we are even starting to get a potential daily RSI cross, which could pop it back up to probably around 370. And if we go to the 10 hour, it's probably looking somewhere in the 360 region. Could reverse once we get up there. But it is looking like a pretty free ride for another $10 more, and then could be looking at to see how strong this bounce could be. But yeah, I don't feel very strongly about it. To me, the easy play was called right here at the bottom, and when we look at, I'd say it's an easy call, but it did get a little bit of a scam wick right here. So if you did manage to catch the bottom and not panic sell right here, my heart goes out to you. You got diamond hands. But anyway, so Tesla looking like it could pop back up, but when we look at the higher time frames, like I said earlier in the video, that's where stuff really happens. And looking at the 2 week, we got a 2 week cross down and with volatility, and so last time we got a read like this was back here. And so, you know what I mean? Like, if as soon as it crosses down right here on the volatility, we did have a pop back up, but you see what happened afterwards. So definitely something to keep in mind, that just because it's bullish today doesn't mean that it's gonna stay bullish. And then the next best gainer would be Shopify. And if you don't know what Shopify is, it's basically a website company or a technology company to where you can build your own website. And it probably does do good in a good economy, but if the economy's not doing so good, not too many people are going to be building their own website. And so definitely one of the riskier plays, in my opinion. But yeah, other than that, we do have some upwards price action. And if we look at the 6 hour, we're getting a fresh potential cross in the RSI. So could see a pop back up. And then checking out NVIDIA, and we've been watching this on the monthly slowly expand to the downside on volatility. And so yeah, this one's a little bit harder to do TA on, but looking at the weekly, we do have some potential upwards price action. And when you look at the 4-day, it's about to cross up. So this one definitely could be one that's ready to push to new highs, especially since, all the good news it's had recently. So, and when you look at the daily, we've already crossed up. And so if we check out the 6 hour, it looks like a back retest going to the upside. So probably does push its way up to 140 over time. And so next, not really a big fan of AMD stock, because I do think NVIDIA is a better company overall. And I have an NVIDIA computer and it's very good, so I don't see how AMD could be competing with them, honestly. But you never know. Again, my opinion for sure. I haven't really looked into the AMD chips to see if they're good, but going back all the way down to 2016, when AMD has only had one chance down to the weekly blue 377. And it was the bottom. So could we be looking at a potential bottom? Time will tell. But AMD's not the only stock reaching for new potential lows. And if we look at Ethereum, it's very similar, as it's never really had too many opportunities below the purple 200 EMA. And that would be, we kind of guessed, it would probably be somewhere like these lows, and right here, and a little bit right here. So Ethereum's full on collapsing in my opinion, and probably gonna keep collapsing even if it did pop back up a little bit. So, and then speaking of collapsing, we will check out Bitcoin. And this one has been one that kind of got me into stocks and technical analysis, as I heard about it back in 2017 and I knew nothing about stocks. And I waited until about April of 19 is when I started trading stocks. And, I got into Bitcoin right here. It was 5,500 and got out somewhere around 13.3, I believe it was. And then, I had some learning experiences right here. And then, basically got it together from there. So that's a little history lesson about me. And, I'm still watching it. but I do believe the hype in Bitcoin is a little bit over. And the reason I say that is basically because of technical analysis, and this volume pattern right here is extremely low. And so, when we see volume in a pattern, it will break to the upside, which doesn't mean up or down in price. But, to me, if it was going to break bullish and set new records up to like 250K or whatever, it would have on this rally. And so because we didn't see that, I would expect a volume expansion going up about this size, and it would line up with probably a correction like this. And so, that could be a long time going down. But yeah, totally could be wrong about it. But I do feel pretty good about saying that we're definitely going to go back down to at least 30K to maybe even 20K in the future. So, but this could take, very long time to play out, as it was April of 21 to, if we go to right there, that was 630 days. So if we draw out 630 days here, where's that going to put us? It's going to put us into the future. So that's going to be somewhere around October 2026 is what it's looking like on a potential low to be put in Bitcoin if it did top out right here. And if we look at the daily, which doesn't give you much, probably the 3-day would be a better way to look at it. But, as long as we got these higher time frames pointed to the downside, it's probably going down. And then we got the 2-week right here, bearish divergence, with a little bit of bearish divergence in the bigger divergence from here to here and from here to here in price. So, when you do see something like that, that is pretty similar to what happened back in here. And so yeah, we'll see what happens going into the future with that one. And so with that, we can move into QQQ, which has been a pretty good one that I've been watching. And we got the daily right here, so probably does break to all-time highs in the QQQ. And so yeah, it is getting a little toppy on the monthly, but nothing too bad. And then let's see here if we can check out Costco. And this is looking like Costco's looking like this might be what the channel is going to focus on going forward, as it is a good company. They have good products at low prices, and then they also pay dividends, as well as they're not in the news a lot talking about stuff that doesn't have anything to do with Costco. And so with that, I think it's a good stock to be keeping an eye on for technical analysis. So, but we are running into some resistance on the weekly, so how much more could it go? I'm not sure. But like I said, when we jump down to the 6 hour and really look at it, we got a bullish bounce off the 6 hour. So it does look like it could pop it back up right here. And what else could we look at? Microsoft. So Microsoft on the monthly, this one has 0 volatility. So definitely a big move coming out of Microsoft soon. And Adobe, probably going to delete this one off the list. Just interesting to know how that one was doing. And, looking at Netflix right here, getting a fresh volatility cross on the monthly. So this one could be one that does pretty good over the next year or so. As last time we got a cross to the upside, it held it for November 21 all the way through October of 22. So could be looking at a year of high volatility in Netflix. And Chipotle could be looking at a good while of red burritos coming on down, just based off the monthly time frame. And Coca-Cola is looking like it always beats earnings, so that's pretty bullish for Coca-Cola. Although I don't think their products are that great. I don't really do them myself, but I try to avoid stuff like that. But anyway, QQQ looking like, well, yeah, not a lot to see off of this, but last time it got up in this region, it did break below the moving average on the PMARP, and so we could be seeing a potential top soon in the QQQ. And NASDAQ, again, getting pretty high up there, away from its moving averages, so see what happens. And then we could be putting in some bearish divergence on the monthly when it does top out. And Visa on the monthly time frame, it's getting pretty up there. And again, I like to look at the monthly time frame for a more longer term view on things, and to kind of cut out all the ups and downs and the small swings in the market. So I think it's good to be looking at the monthly, especially since it's Friday and we're at the end of the week. So, and gold looking like it could pop back up based off the monthly. Home Depot looking like it could pop back up, and again the S&P, we've already covered it. Costco getting way up there on RSI, as it is now at a 88 on RSI. So can't really go up too much more on the monthly time frame without some sideways or down. And so that's pretty interesting look, as well as Google getting bearish divergence. And Walmart's getting way, way out there. As you can see, it is now a 94 on RSI. So I never thought I'd be saying Walmart got to a 94 on RSI, but it definitely has, and hasn't been this high up since 83. So glory days for Walmart, especially if you got back in $18 back in 2015, you would be up 400%. So, that's another way of looking at it is, yeah, you could have bought right here and tried to sell right here, and then did it again, bought right there and then sold right here, or you could just hold and get the 400%. So definitely something to think about as stock market technical analysis. A lot of it is psychology and the way you think, so definitely keep that in mind. Speaking of psychology, keep it in mind. And so yeah, Apple stock, again, some bearish divergence on the monthly, so not looking so good. And then Meta stock getting way up there. So usually when you get way up there, you do come back down. So whether you go sideways or down, it does eventually come back to reality. And the railroad right here is looking like zero volatility, so big moves coming out of stocks soon from what I'm seeing. And and it really doesn't matter which stock you're looking at, they're all kind of lining up for a big move. And John Deere's looking like it's already had working on its big move, but it's going down. So, and to me, when volatility gets low, it almost always goes to the downside, but that's not really a good way of looking at it. And when you're looking at the weekly on something like Tesla, volatility is not really low, so it's hard to get a good example of what it could do. But we'll take a look at the biggest losers, and that would be Reddit stock, and it's pulling back pretty hard. So with all that being said, we will take one more look at the S&P, as it does kind of control everything, which it's because it has the best 500 stocks in it. So it does make sense that it would kind of run everything. But looking at the 12-month time frame, stocks go up and money printer goes burr. So definitely looking like it could keep going to the upside when you look at it on the 12-month, which is taken into example all the way back from the 1800s. And when you look at it, it's like we have a big volatility down when you look at these, and then another one right here, number 4, number 5, 6, and it looks like we're setting up for a number 7 up here. So definitely something to think about. These are as high time frame as you can go, and so definitely something to think about. And but when you go back to some time frames that are a little bit more realistic, it does look like it could be putting in some bearish divergence again. So yeah, not much to go off of. TA works good some days it doesn't work out so good. But with that, we can jump down to the 30-minute in Tesla, see what's going on, and we can check out the 5-minute. And so looking at the 5-minute could be a potential top for now, but as long as we got the daily, which we don't have the daily yet, but we might soon. So yeah, I'll leave y'all with that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and see you tomorrow.